Last time, on Sailing Kittiwake, we fixed the engine and steering system of our blue water sailboat. In this episode, we replace all canvas on board, DIY. When we moved on to Skua, my canvas work main priority was to create a Bimini that would protect us from the sun, as we'll be sailing in the Mediterranean summer and hopefully eventually in the tropics. But once we moved on board, we started looking at all the canvas work that's on the boat, and unfortunately a lot of it looks very tired. The stitching looks like it's going to fall apart, and the fabric is just sort of ripping apart quite easily. So basically I've decided to go all out and redo all of the canvas on the boat, which is a bit of a daunting project. Replacing canvas on a boat can be very pricey, but if you do it yourself then it can be quite reasonable. So I think we spent around 800 euros all in to get the material to make spray dodger, Bimini, the sides to the Bimini if we manage to get that done, the mainsail cover, and then the UV strips for both head sails, and obviously all the materials that come with it, so the zippers, the UV thread, the straps, everything. So if you think about that, for a 37-foot boat, that spending around 800 euros is pretty much nothing in terms of canvas work. And obviously you have to add the sewing machine, which was 132 euros to that, so still under 1 grand. And if you went to get it done professionally, you'd probably be looking at 6k maybe. So we're still quite happy with spending that. And basically while we've been here, I've been working really hard on fueling our cruising kitting and our boat maintenance fund, so that's how we can afford that. So one of the key things to keep the cost down was to get a cheaper brand for the fabric. This is called Sailboat, and we are not affiliated in any way. We are not sponsored. They didn't give us any freebies, but this is way cheaper than the usual Sunbrella fabric. And this is my first project. I made some dodgers for the sides because it was like the easiest sort of project to start with, and it looks like it's really good. And we think that the fabric that's been used before on this boat is the same fabric, so it should last quite long. So today I'm going to take the spray hood off and unstitch it, and I'll be using it for a template for making the new one. Like it's melted on. So I traced the contour of the old spray hood onto the new fabric and cut each piece to size, like this one.
What are you doing there?
I'm soldering the fabric. So you're meant to cut this sort of fabric with a hot knife, but it's crazy expensive. So Ryan made me soldering screwdriver. It's basically a way to sort of heat up and seal the edges of the fabric, and it's time consuming and it's a bit boring, but it saves us quite a lot of money. The next step is to use the vinyl to reinforce the marine fabric. This is the vinyl, and it will be sewn to the fabric through this hem.
What are you doing with the double-sided tape?
Just fixing this hem down so that it's easier to sew through the machine. Stays in place. I then hemmed each section and sewed all the pieces of canvas and vinyl together to make the shape of the spray hood. I added some webbing straps to the sides to attach the structure to the cockpit coamings. I know this looks very easy and relaxing, but to be honest with you, it's truly the end result of blood, sweat and swears. Honestly, I've never found anything so challenging in my life. So most of the bits of the spray hood are now together after much swearing. So we've got the window separator, the top, the sides with the buckles, and a few zips. So it's looking alright, it fits. I'm not super happy with it because I couldn't sew straight a few bits, but it's going to be alright. It should be waterproof, which is what we need. So now we're going to template the windows so that we get them the right size. We're using some window material which is 0.7 millimeter thick, and the sewing machine should go through it alright. We made the templates with the spray hood on, tight in all the right spots, so that the windows would be a good fit. Ryan then helped me sew them in, because by this point the whole thing was huge and it was quite hard to handle by myself. So the spray hood is pretty much in place, and now we're gonna add some fixings to the bottom sides so that it is all tensioned correctly, because you can see it's a bit baggy in some places, but it seems to fit. It's not a work of beauty, but hopefully it will protect us from the spray. I started a new project. I'm going to make a new mainsail cover, which is slightly different from the one that we've got at the moment. And today I'm going to start off by cutting my first piece. I've got all the measurements here, and I'm just going to draw it on the fabric and cut it out. Each of the 4 pieces that made up the stack pack were 4.6 meters long, so cutting and sewing took a while. Once I cut and hemmed both sides of the stack pack, we designed the lazy jacks. We decided to sew the webbing straps for the lazy jacks completely onto the cover to let the webbing take the weight rather than the fabric. This meant doing a bit of basic geometry. Then I was back at the sewing machine to install the webbing straps.
Will you show me one of those that you're making?
Yep. One lazy jack strap. Here's going to be a lazy jack I will attach, and this will be sewn onto the cover, and then this will attach somewhere to the boom.
How do you find that webbing strap for sewing?
It's the best thing to sew. It's great. It's really soft and the needle goes through it like it's nothing, like it's butter. Once the sides were complete, I attached the top sections and zippers to them. So plan A failed miserably. We put the stack back up and it was going to have sort of 4 points under the boom to keep it up. So basically the lazy jack's coming down, and some straps underneath the boom, and just the sail flops out in all sorts of directions. The reefing lines are like overflowing everywhere. I'm sorry I don't have any footage of it, but I was really grumpy because it took me days to make this stack pack, and it's completely wrong. And the last thought on my mind was to take the camera out. I just wanted to smash everything. So yeah, so today I feel a bit more zen about it. I'm gonna we're gonna remake the same stack pack that it was. We stupidly didn't check how it was attached specifically. We thought the bottom of it was attached to the actual mainsail, which I had absolutely no confidence about sewing onto it. But in fact it was sewn onto basically some sail fabric, and it's a strip that runs along the bottom of the boom, and it's independent from the actual sail. It's quite silly that we didn't find out before.
Well, this solution will be better, right?
Yeah, so this should be a lot better. The stack back will be sewn onto that piece of fabric that will be under the sail, and therefore the sail won't be able to escape from the stack back, and you're gonna have to faff about with these zippers, and they're a bit old and manky and not great, but
once they're set up though, we shouldn't like have to move the zippers really.
Yeah, so you know, it's gonna be alright. It's just...
So what's the work that we need to do to sort it out?
The stack back sides, they need to get shortened, and then adding the zips at the end where the reefing lines are, and then sew the whole two sides onto this strip of fabric.
We found out annoyingly after we'd done most of the canvas work that with this tip on the soldering iron we can kind of cut directly and heat seal at the same time, like with a hot knife. It works really well.
I think, how much was it? Like €11 or something?
Yeah, it was pretty cheap. And obviously it works really well for soldering as well. It's quite a powerful one, I think. But I think the hot knives are like $300 or something insane.
Yeah.
But this works pretty good.
So this is a strip of sort of sail fabric that is going inside the boom at the bottom of the sail, and it will be attached to our stack back here. So the stack back can slide in with this under the sail and it won't go anywhere. So even if the lazy jacks are really sort of loose, it won't fall out completely, and it should contain well both the sail and the reefing lines. After much sewing, it's ready to go up. I really hope this time it's alright. Just had a break for a wasp sting. I don't know why, but I always get stung. So it's mostly on. I need to sort out the rest of the sail. What do you think?
I think it's pretty perfect. Yeah, amazing. You see, it's perfect tension, I think. It's not like really hard to do up, but it holds the sail nice and tight, and I'm glad we did change it and sew it in along the bottom. It's a much neater look. So yeah, it needs to get all the reefing lines and stuff on.
Yeah.
But it's pretty lovely.
I need to make that bit. We call it the horsey. It's not perfect. My crazy stitching shows in some bits, but I don't care. It works. It works. In the next few days I'm going to work on our staysail. The UV strip is coming off quite a lot, but it seems to be just a sacrificial bit at the bottom. We don't really have anything as light as this to replace it with. So all I'm going to do is just restitch, take this off, the sacrificial bit off, stitch the bottom here, and any sort of stitches that have come undone, like here, restitch over it, and just make sure that this UV strip is very securely attached to the sail. We'll probably need more work later on, but at this point in time I don't have the material, I don't know where to buy it, and I don't really have the money to buy it, so that's the deal at the moment. In my shoes, world on my shoulder, heart full of blues out in the dirt, down in the dirt. The machine won't go through it, so I have to use the manual function. Okay, so it's going a little bit better. It's not skipping that much. It's not great, but it seems to be well attached. I couldn't do the corners of the staysail with the sewing machine. I broke a needle. I don't have any more needles of that size, so I've got to order them in. And I just don't think the thread and the needle combination is good enough for a sail that thick, at least in those sort of corners. So Ryan is way better than me at speedy stitching, so he has been doing it, and he's really good at it. I'll show you.
Here's the line of Eleanor's stitching that she did with the machine. You can see that the needle broke and we couldn't go through the corners because there's lots and lots of layers of material in the corners for extra strength. So I've just traced some old holes and replaced the stitching along this line. It's pretty easy because you can just follow the old holes, so you haven't really got to sort out the spacing or anything like that. And I've tried to capture any old stitching so that it can't come undone as well. So this is the bit I'm going to try and repair now. This is the top of the luff. So you can see that I don't know if you call this a luff tape or what, but where it's at the top, it's just really worn all this away. Quite a lot of chafing, which is a little bit annoying, but it should be repairable. What I'm going to try and do is use some repair tape, so this stuff, and then stick that on there, and then stitch through it as well. It probably won't look as good as the stitching on the other side because I'm going to have to space out the holes myself, but hopefully it'll still be alright.
No one's going to see it because it's all the way at the top of the mast.
Yeah, I'll know it's there though. Oops. So it's all done. I've done one patch that kind of went down this strip and then out, and that's got a row of zigzags and then a straight stitch through it, and then another one which wrapped around the luff tape maybe, and then that's got a zigzag through it as well. So hopefully that should be strong enough. It feels a lot stronger, and I'll just double check that this can actually go through up the luff groove to get it hoisted up. Heart full of blues out in the dirt. Down in the dirt.
I'm finally done with the canvas work. It's been a busy 2 to 3 months doing it and learning a lot, but we now have up the stack back, the fixed up staysail, the spray hood. That's our Bimini, which I'll show you in a bit, and we also have sort of a Bimini extension. This clips onto the boom gallows, so that when we have the the spray hood down, when it's really hot and you need a bit of breeze to go through the cockpit, then we can just sort of zip this up to the spray hood and clip it here and onto these eye bolts. We still need to trim them down, but that's the idea. I'm not done yet. I need to make some shades for the sides because the Bimini is quite narrow due to the shape of the spray hood, but for now, for the spring, this should be more than enough.
What was the hardest bit to make?
Probably the spray hood. It had lots of awkward shapes and lots of bits, needed a lot of materials, and we didn't really have the right sewing machine for it, so that was quite challenging. As you can see, the what we call Bimini is attached to the spray hood through this zipper and through these clips on the sides, and they all provide some sort of tension together with the bow, which is down here. So on the back we've got 2 clips on the sides to starboard and port, and then we have 3 straps which is made of webbing with a buckle underneath, and we can sort of tension them as we like. So this is really taut now, but if I want to I can make it less taut, as you can see, and that helps attaching it to the spray hood as well.
Show me what you're doing with the buckle.
It's just like a backpack, I guess.
Nice.
Thanks for watching. Let us know if you have any questions in the comments below. If you enjoy our vlog, consider supporting our production on Patreon. Join us next time as we outfit our Tayana 37 for cruising.